So I use this expression a lot or this analogy a lot. And so it's usually in the context of um, time management. And the expression goes like this. I mean, we're all given the same 24 hours in a day. It just depends on how you use that same 24 hours. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today. But I want to go through an exercise that I think will be utterly staggering to you. So we are all given the same 24 hours in a day. But let's back into what happens during a typical 24-hour period. So let's just say that we're lucky enough to get 8 hours of sleep a day. That would mean that we are in REM stage 8 hours, right? So 8 of the 24 are now gone. All right, that leaves us 16 hours. Well, you have to eat. So that's, let's say, 3 meals a day, 3 hours, and now you're down to 13 hours. And you have to get up in the morning and ease into your day. Maybe you do some exercising, whatever it is, but just getting up and getting ready and ready to sit down and have your coffee. That's what, 2 hours? So now you're down to 11. And let's talk about the end of the day when most people's energy is on the downturn. We all sit around and probably either read or watch TV before we go to bed. So, conservatively speaking, that's another 2 hours. So now you're down to nine. And so, and just add another hour in there for stuff that I probably didn't even think about. So now you're down to 8 hours of productivity. And you and I both know that no one can sit down for 8 full hours and work. Now, mind you, I didn't bake in there errand running, gotta go grocery shopping, gotta go to the dentist, and then all the time it takes to get there. All right. So arguably, we probably only have a good maybe 4 to 6 hours every day on an average. And that's probably a very generous assessment of how many hours we actually have. And so, is it any wonder that we get overwhelmed by the feeling of not reaching my goals, right? So, my message today is not to give you more stress in that realization. It is to perhaps um, cause you to redirect what it is that you're doing every day. So I always say that, again, knowing that none of us can sit down for 4 to 6 to 8 straight hours and just be productive. But I would say that the most important component of a realtor's job is to try and get their phone to ring. And in a word, that is prospecting. So you won't be successful if you don't dedicate at least 2 hours every day, 2 straight hours every day to trying to get new business. Now, if you're like me, and when I was doing this full time and I did a lot of open houses and expired listings, that's all weekend driven stuff. So if that's you, then what I'm talking about should happen on the weekends. I'm not saying everybody should sit down at their desk from 9 to 11 and try and get their phone to ring. It's whatever works for you. It's not about how, it's about the fact that you've got to dedicate 2 hours every day to getting new business. Okay. So, um, man, just remember that. If you think that you have 8 hours ahead of you to do what you need to do, that's not the case. There's too much other stuff that gets in the way that either takes up your time or derails you mentally so that you can't get back on track to pick up where you left off. So don't fall into that trap and do at least 2 hours of prospecting every day.